Hello and welcome. I am the Watch Golem, bringing you videos on watches, sometimes clocks and horology. So, customary wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing my Seiko SKJ. I do like this watch. It's my go-to watch for swimming and also when I go running. And on my right wrist I'm wearing a fairly hard to get hold of Casio W450, and this is one of the first Casios I know of that came with what I can only describe as a bezel protector, even though it sits below the crystal. Now, I've done a few changes. Mrs. Watch Golem was not happy with the fact that my surface here was a little bit dusty, so I have cleaned it, and to make sure that my watches aren't covered in dust as well, which unfortunately that does happen. Anyway, today's video is about another Seiko. One you've actually seen before. I included this in a previous video, but I thought it deserves a little bit of attention itself, and it is this. It is a very nice Seiko 6309, and it is the model, if I can remember correctly. Of course, as usual, I haven't got my glasses on properly. Yeah, that's right, it's an 802, I think it's an 802, hold on. Yeah, an 8020. And this one is from December 1978. I'm going to give it a clean because my fingerprints will get all over it. And this camera is actually quite good. It does show these things up. And the reason I'm showing it today is because I think it's actually a very unsung watch. These 6309s from the mid to late 70s. They didn't come under the moniker of the Seiko 5, but this is very 70s. It's got a beautiful, I'll try and move in here, see if I can just focus properly. This beautiful linen dial. It really comes up nice. It is loomed, the hands are loomed, there's a couple of dots at the top, and then you've got dots for the hour buttons round. Being a 6309, it is automatic only, no hacking, no hand winding. It does have the day-date complication. This one's in German and English, so not sure where this watch came from. I bought this off the Bay years ago as a spare parts watch for my 6309-7040 diver. But the movement in it is so good, and I really like the watch. And it's reminded me of the King Seiko release they did a few years ago. I do actually have a photograph of this watch by one. I shall try and put it in here. So if there's a pause, that's me putting the photograph in as I edit it. And you can see the similarities. It's got a very plain case backs where they started to let themselves down a bit in the 70s. I suppose the quartz crisis was in full swing, even though they started it. And their mechanical watches just probably weren't really, up there. It's unpolished, this watch, and when I say unpolished as in the case hasn't been polished back up again. Well, you can tell with the watch is which side of the wrist it's worn. You can see this one here is actually still quite polished on this side, but however here it's all battered and bashed, which means the person wore it on their right wrist and upside down. Usually when people wear their watches this way, typically people who do a lot of driving, racing, the crystals tend to be absolutely scratched to Pluto. But there, this is a lovely watch. So let's do some measuring. Now, I think this one comes in at, let's try and get the old calipers in there. So it's very difficult. But looking at 30, it looks like it's 37. Yeah, 37. Lug to lug, that's probably the best way to do it, like that. Lug to lug, we've got, hold up, it's moved. Try again. Lug to lug, we've got 41. Thickness, it's quite slim. Yeah, so look at that. Thickness, it's 11. And the lug width, oh, that's interesting, just under 20. Yeah, it's not actually 20, it's just under 20. Interesting. But the case on this is sort of what I can see is the tail end of the grammar of design, as Seiko called it. It's got those sharp edges that would have been polished and it would have actually looked very, very shiny and pleasing when new. You can see from this side the grammar of design, and obviously around the bezel. It's a plastic crystal. They call it Hesselite is the term. I'm never quite sure what Hesselite actually is. I must look that up. Sounds like something that comes out of a meteorite. I've got it on this black leather strap. Now originally these came on metal bracelets, have obviously long gone, but I think it actually looks quite nice on this this leather strap. I do hate the gold buckle. I must get a decent Seiko buckle to go onto it. I like the fact that the back of the strap is also black, so there's no white in there. Again, very similar to the King Seikos of the time. But I think just the dial itself, the way it catches the light as you move it around, is actually really nice. And the dial is in excellent condition. And the movement on these 6301, 6309s, I think I've shown before. Hold on. I think one of the most attractive movements they did at the time. I mean, they put some effort in here. It looks, when you compare this, say, to a 7 S26A, this is actually really, really nice. You know, I don't get this 3/4 or whatever you want to call it, a third winding weight, but hey, that's theirs. It doesn't cause any problems. My 6309 diver is the same, but it's beautiful. And they've got a nice big balance. And that balance wheel gives these watches some really, really good accuracy. If you compare it to a 7S26A, the balances in those are tiny, very small. I'm sure they're modern and they do keep good time once they're set up properly. But yeah, now the biggest drawback on these 6309s is the fact that they are only 17 joules. And this was done at a time that Americans had tariffs on watches with a higher joule count than 17 joules. So of course the Swiss watch industry and the Japanese watch industry just reduced the joule count. But what happens is the barrel isn't jouled in the main plate, and these move if you put pressure on them, and this one does not move. It's in very, very good condition. The watch I don't think got worn that much and got, you know, the usual stuck in a drawer and left. But I do love that movement. It just looks so nice and deserving of a display case back, because it's lovely to look at. And I've seen different versions of these as it went through the years. Some are polished. Some of these are highly polished. This one is quite polished. Others are duller. I think the later ones are duller. So they obviously put some effort into these. Now, I've got the case back on. Oh yeah, it's still got, just to show you, it's still got its flat gasket. It's an original flat gasket. Now I bought this, as I say, as a spare parts watch for my 7040 diver. And I've decided not to use it as a spares for it. I'm going to keep it as it is. I'm not going to polish it either, but I will stick it on the TimeGrapher. Now, yes, I have fettled this a little bit. I do wear this occasionally. I try not to, because it does need a service, and I want to get either that where the barrel goes into the main plate greased, or preferably jeweled. Anyway, it's a 609, so it's a 54.5 degree lift angle, and let's see what she does. It's about as wound as she can be. Okay, let's let her settle down. Okay, not the cleanest trace. So it's getting better. But 262 amplitude for a watch that was made in 1978, and from what I can gather has never been serviced. Dropping to 256 is pretty good. Plus 7 seconds. And the beat error is pretty good. Maybe it just needs to settle down a bit more. Let me see if I can clean up that signal. Might be me yakking. Let's see what I do if I reduce it a bit. Yeah, a little bit of interference there. Maybe because it does need a service, but it's still pretty good though. It's going to try into a different position. So this is crown up. Actually, give it a moment to settle. It's the thing with the TimeGrapher, you have to give them time to settle. You have to give the watch time, because when you move the watch, the balance and the balance spring move, and it affects the signal. Actually, that's not bad. It's going to put it into a... This is 12 o'clock up. See what she comes out with. See, the beat error is hardly changing. The amplitude hasn't changed much either. So it's actually, this is well worth a service. Yeah, that's actually signals cleaned up a bit in there. It just goes to show you a different position, you get a different signal. But I do like to set my watches up as the starting point in the dial-up position, because I find if you do that, it works the best. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.